Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. So we are going to discuss today about the secret of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. And today is also Mahasivaratri, as you all know, very special day. We worship Lord Shiva as the greatest Vaishnava, and also he is one of the 12 Mahajans. So Yudhishthira Maharaj says in Mahabharata, there's a beautiful statement he makes, Dharmasya Tattvam Netam Guhayam Mahajano Yena Gata Sapantaha. It means, so therefore Lord Shiva is Mahajan. So the Mahajans teach by their examples. What do they teach? They teach the pure devotional service, how to practice pure bhakti. So we should follow the footsteps of Mahajan. So that's what it means. Mahajano yena gata sapantaha. So having said that, so we should follow the teachings of Lord Shiva, who is teaching the pure devotional service. So we worship Lord Shiva in that mood. So on this very auspicious occasion of Mahasivaratri, let's pray to Lord Shiva to bless us so that we can sincerely practice Lord Chaitanya's Nama Sankirtana process, chanting of the holy names of Krishna. So that's our prayer. So, so with that, let us start with Mangala Charana. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Tabitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Mancha Kalpata Rupasya Kripa Sindhubaya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So before we get started, we'll look at Mahaprabhu's Pranam Mantra to seek his blessings. We'll go to the next slide, Prabhu. So we all can recite this together. So please recite this along with me. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. So one more time. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. The translation: O most munificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You assumed the golden color of Srimati Radharani and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. So we offer our respectful obeisances unto you. This is the Pranam Mantra of Mahaprabhu. So we have to recite this Pranam Mantra to get the blessings of Lord Chaitanya. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langete girim yatkripa tamaham vande Shri Gurun Dina Taranam. So first, before we understand Mahaprabhu's tattva, so we need to understand the different forms of the Lord. And this is the inspiration I got last week. So we'll understand the different forms and why they come and what is the purpose. So then we can understand Lord Chaitanya. So generally people ask when you preach to students, the college students, or even to people who are into science and technologies and things like that. So the question is, they ask, who is God? Does God really exist? We get these questions often. And this is a question people ask in the modern world. Actually, if you read scriptures, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam or Puranas, and you did not, this question didn't arise at all so much in previous ages. But with the modern age, especially with the rise of science or advancement of science, many people question the existence of God. So this is, of course, if you look at the scriptures again, why people have this kind of questions in the modern age. Of course, this is due to the society of gross materialism, and because of the lack of any personality or lack of any knowledge of moral standards for humanity. That's what the scriptures say. So yeah, we have some people believe in God, and some people will not believe in God in the modern society. So we have both the categories. So those who believe in God, however, is of various types. It's pretty interesting. So we have many different faiths in the world. Different religions people practice in the world. So some of them actually won't believe in God if you see it philosophically, but they nevertheless worship someone or something. So in that sense, they accept some sort of higher authority. Some object of reverence is there. So we call this as a religion. So we have major religions of the world like Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, and even Hinduism. I'm not going to say Hinduism, I'm going to say Vedantic religion. The religion based on Vedanta, or Vedic religion, however you want to say it. So we also have, you also see some primitive religions also. I'm calling it as primitive religions because those are the groups who have their own system of worship. It's not based on any authorized Vedic scriptures or authorized scriptures for that matter. So we also find that the most civilization in the ancient times had some sort of worship going on with or without some sort of faith. But in the modern age, we find large group of people who don't have any faith at all. In fact, if you sometimes this is promoted by governments, unfortunately, and the societies themselves. So therefore, if you have no God society, ultimately, scripture says it becomes meaningless because there is no standard for anything. So there is no goal. There's no spiritual goals at all. There's no higher goals. It's all the goals are based on enjoyment in the material world. So life becomes meaningless, and thus we don't have any goals, spiritual goals. So consequently, what happens? Our conduct become a relative type of thing. What does it mean? Meaning whatever we feel it is right, we do. So when you talk to some people, they say that it feels right to me, I've done that. So there is no higher standards or universal standards that they can refer to decide what is right and what is wrong. So it becomes rather a depressing situation. So as I mentioned, we have many major religions of the world. So they believe in some sort of God. So we have belief in one God, and we have belief in many gods and so on. So the many God option we also see not only in the Vedantic religion, Vedic religion, we also see that in Greek culture. So there are many gods for different purposes. Even if the Egyptians also have many gods. So similarly, in our Vedantic religion, we also have equivalent. So we have devatas. So we have water deity, we call Varuna, and we have fire deity, Agni. We have moon deity, Chandradev. And we have various deities for different elements that we see in this world. And even for the planets also, we have Navagraha in the sky. And we have minor devata for the local river also, we see. And even trees. So you can see the personalism has pervaded the entire the existence. But at the same time, we see the concept of one God is considered to be an advancement over the many God concept. It's pretty interesting if you think about it. So they are considered to be superior. It has become the concept in major religions such as even the Christianity, Islam, even Vedanta, all those things. But in India, we worship many gods, as I explained. But philosophically speaking, there is one supreme God according to Vedic scriptures. So in that sense, if you look at our Vedantic religion, we have some commonality with other major religions of the world. Let's take Buddhism. In Buddhism, there is no God at all. Even though they say no God, when you go to Buddhist temples, what do we see? We see big Buddha deity. I went to Japan on a business and we went to a Buddhist temple and there's a big Buddha statue and people are doing arati, like showing bhartis, agarbharti to Buddhist statue or deity. Big Buddha. So in spite of the fact that there is no God, so to speak, they worship Buddha. But if you look at their philosophy, the Siddhanta, according to that, there is no God. So that is a unique feature of Buddhism. Anyway, we have choice of many gods or one God. So when we get to one God, we have controversy also again. God is spiritual, so then we have controversy around his form. Meaning, does he have form or no form? Does he have body or no body? Does he have qualities or no qualities? Does he have activities or no activities? So there is a controversy takes place even within Vedic religion, even within Vedanta Sutra. So the major followers of Vedanta in India, you can just split them into two groups. One is believing in form and other believes in no form of the Lord. So the one who says God has form is Vaishnavas like us. So the Vaishnavas explained the Vedanta Sutras and Upanishads with one Supreme Lord who has qualities, who has activities. Then the other group who accepts Vedanta is impersonalist, Mayavadis. So they say God ultimately has no form. One Supreme God who is called as Brahman, but no form, no qualities and no activities. So that's what they say. Of course, they say more than this, but in a nutshell, this is what they say. So if you look at it, this is in common with other major religions in the world, like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. They also have the Supreme God doesn't have form ultimately. So what's the difference between Mayavadis and other major religions of the world? Mayavadis say this world is false. They say it's Maya. Everything is Maya, everything is false. There is no Jiva and everything is God. So all you need to do is you have to realize that you are God and you become God. That's what the Mayavadis say. But the other major religions say this world is real and we are real. So they don't reject this world like Mayavadis do. So they recognize not only God but other objects as well. So the Mayavadis take extreme position, even in comparison to the other major religions of the world. So the Vaishnavas believe that the Supreme Lord has forms, qualities, and activities. So this is the major controversy that arises due to the ambiguity of certain words in the scriptures, especially in Vedanta Sutras and Upanishads. So we can clearly see that the most religions of the world has difficulty in accepting God as form. And nevertheless, it creeps into religion somehow. So I gave an example of Buddhism. You go to Buddhist temple, you see the deity of Buddha. Even if you go to in Christianity, if you go to church, they have a deity of Mother Mary or even Jesus Christ. So they have some forms in their places of worship. But theologically speaking, they say there is no form for God. So now it is very interesting, but then why they are worshipping the deity form? Because why they have difficulty in accepting the form? So again, we can refer to the scriptures. They have difficulty in accepting the form is that they associate the form with material world. That's the interesting point, scripture says. So we have forms in the material world. So if something is spiritual, then it has to be opposite to material. So they conclude, therefore, there is no form for God. And there's no qualities. There's no activities for God. This is how they conclude. So it's kind of a logic that is used. But this logic is flawed because it comes from material mind and material intelligence. There is no basis of this logic in the scriptures. So for them, spiritual means it's a negation of the material world. So that's how they concluded. The Vaishnavas, however, not only accept the form of God, but they also see many forms of God. Astonishing. It's quite astonishing. But though Vaishnavas recognize many forms of God, it's all one person ultimately. Again, more astonishing. It's one person having many forms. It is not different persons. It's one person with many forms. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavanam Cha. Brahma Samhita says. Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Govinda, the primeval Lord, who cannot be accessed through Vedas. Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto. But he is accessible only by pure bhakti, unalloyed devotion. And he is also without a second. Advaitam, Achyutam is, he won't deteriorate like we all deteriorate, the embodied soul in the body. He is without beginning, Anadim Anantarupam. He is formless. It has unlimited forms. Anantarupam. So it says the Lord has unlimited forms. Brahma Samhita says Anantarupam. Again, this is also difficult for some people to understand. Why? Because we have not seen this in the material world. We always see one person, one form. That's all we have seen in the material world. But here we are dealing with the spiritual realm actually. And it's a Supreme Lord. It's a one person, but he has many forms. This is the idea within the Vaishnava Vedanta. I'm going to put it like that. These are the Vaishnavas understand Vedanta. So there's one Supreme God, and the God has many forms. How do we know this? We go to scriptures, and we don't concoct. We don't come up with our own theory. We refer to the scriptures, Vedic scriptures. And this is what scriptures tell us. So even logically speaking, we can say that God is all-powerful. If he's all-powerful, why can't he have a form? If he has form, why can't he have many forms? Because he's all-powerful. But there is an esoteric reasons also given in the scriptures, especially Sanatana Goswami talks about it in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Why God has many forms? He says we have many devotees, many types of devotees. Meaning we all are individual souls. And we all are different. We have different likes, dislikes, we have different emotions, we have different types of devotion, different flavors in our devotion. Some likes to worship God in one form, some likes another form. In those particular forms, there is certain emotions or certain devotion that is not present in other type of worship. For example, the worshipper of Narsingadev gets one feeling, and the worshipper of Lord Ramachandra, Lord Ram gets another feeling. The worshipper of Krishna gets different feelings. So it is all based on that the form is different. So the feelings of devotees are somewhat different. So for catering to the different devotees' bhava, spiritual emotions, the Lord can have different forms. This is what Acharyas say. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita beautifully explains that concept. And of course, many of these forms are functional as well, if you think about it. For instance, you take Matsya avatar, the fish avatar. Why would the Supreme Lord, who is all-powerful, take fish form at all? But it is functional. Why? During the flood, when there was no land, the Lord came as Matsya, fish, rescued the Vaivashvata Manu and all the Vedas and all the creatures. So therefore, Lord takes the fish form as fish can swim in the water. So it's a practical form. Similarly, it takes a turtle form, Kurma avatar. Turtle is not a very beautiful creature anyway. It is not very intelligent. It is very slow. He walks very slow and things like that. So why did Lord take the form of a turtle? Again, it's functional because to hold up the mantra mountain when the devatas and demons were churning the milk ocean to get the nectar. So they needed the base to hold the churning rod, which was a mantra. A mountain was used for that churning rod, as a churning rod. So the Lord appeared as Kurma to support the churning of the milk ocean. So that's a functional aspect of the Supreme Lord. So anyway, the Lord can have different forms according to function, and he can also have different forms according to the desire of the devotees. Very important point to understand. So in all of these forms, he actually has all of the powers and all of the qualities, but he may not manifest in a particular form all the powers and all the qualities. He's the Supreme Lord with all the powers. He may not manifest in a particular form. And some of the forms of the Lord act as sages. He act as warriors, some of the forms, kings, in the Kshatriya dynasty. So within one form, he can manifest many forms, as is all powerful. And that is very, we can see that in Krishna, when Krishna descends, especially in the Krishna's pastime, especially in the Rasa Leela pastime. Krishna was one person, but then he manifests a form for each gopi who were there in the Rasa Leela. In fact, if you read scriptures, it is mind-boggling. It says there were 3 billion gopis in Rasa Leela. They participate. 3 billion gopis. So Krishna expanded himself into 3 billion forms. Krishna form. And this way, each gopi was completely satisfied because Krishna was paying complete attention to that one gopi. And they could not see anybody else around. They thought that Krishna is with them only. So God can expand himself without any difficulty at all. Even when another thing comes to my mind, when Krishna was in Dwarka, there are 16,108 palaces. Look at that many queens. And Krishna, Narada Muni came to visit Krishna there. And Narada Muni was astonished when he saw Krishna in every palace. And Krishna was doing different things in different palaces simultaneously. So in some places, Krishna was acting in the morning. He was doing morning chores. And in some palaces, he was acting in the evening. He was doing the evening things, evening chores. Even though it is a certain time of the day, Narada came. And Krishna was doing different activities in different palaces. In some palaces, it was different seasons even. It was bewildering to Narada Muni. So all these things were going on simultaneously. So this shows the extraordinary powers of Krishna. He has an extraordinary power that he can distort the time, actually, time and energy completely. So this was one form, but manifesting many forms at the same time. How do we understand? Because we cannot relate to, because we don't see this in the material world. So it is very tough for us to understand these things. So generally, as Krishna, he has 2 hands. You see Krishna playing a flute with the 2 hands, Tribhanga form, you can see. But sometimes Krishna manifests 4 arms. Where does he manifest that? In Dwarka. And in Vaikuntha, he displays again 4 hands as Vishnu. But Vishnu also manifests 8 arms sometimes. Can anybody say in what instance he showed 8 arms? Vishnu showed 8 arms.
Vishwarupa.
Vishwarupa is 1,000 forms, 1,000 hands, isn't it?
When he appeared in front of Arjuna.
Very good.
At the war.
Well, I guess when he appeared, when Krishna and Arjuna went to see Mahavishnu, you are right. Krishna showed the 4-armed form to Arjuna in Battle of Kurukshetra, and also Vishnu showed the 8 arms when Krishna and Arjuna went to see Mahavishnu to get back the sons of Brahmana in Dwaraka. At that time, Mahavishnu displayed 8 arms. It's very unique. So Lord can display not just 2 arms or 4 arms or 8 arms, as Gita Mataji said. He even can display 1,000 arms as in Vishwarupa form. Even as Narsingha Dev, when he came, he was fighting with Hiranyakashipu. He displayed 1,000 arms because he was fighting with Hiranyakashipu and as soldiers of Hiranyakashipu. So the Lord can manifest any number of arms at will. So we have a great variety of forms of the Lord, and they all are beautiful and astonishing. It doesn't matter in which body he comes in. He chooses to come in, which species he comes in. They all are beautiful and astonishing. So that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo viti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam iti sarjuna. One who understands my divine nature, one who understands my divine appearance and activities, does not, upon leaving the body, takes birth in this material world again. So the point is, what Krishna is saying is that if you realize the Bhagavan aspect, if you realize by understanding his transcendental forms, activities, as opposed to the impersonal aspect, Brahman, or the localized aspect, Paramatma, or anything in the material world, then this is the highest goal. And you achieved it. So naturally, we are no longer in the material world. Which beautifully he says in that verse. Also, Lord Krishna also may represent himself in different varnas. And we discussed in one of the classes. He may be a Brahmanical. As Yuga Dharma in Treta Yuga is sacrifice, yagna. So he comes as yagya and acts like a Brahmanical priest to establish the Yuga Dharma for Treta Yuga. He acts as a sage also, Kapila. And he comes as Vedavyas. He acts like a Kshatriya in Parsuram form, or Prithu Maharaj. Of course, classic Lord Ramachandra in Kshatriya dynasty. So you can act like a doctor, Dhanvantri. You can be a farmer. Can anybody guess what is a farmer? When he comes as a farmer, what form is that?
Parsura? Ritu?
No.
Balaram.
Exactly. He is depicted with plow because he plows the field. Krishna himself in Vrindavan is Vaishya. He can come as Brahmachari, Trivikrama, that's Vamana form. He can be a sannyasi, Naranarayana Rishi, or Rishabhadev, Lord Buddha, sannyasi. He can even act as a woman, Mohini Avatar. Great variety here in terms of human-like forms. Why? Because to attract the mind and heart of the souls in the conditioned state. So not only human form, he comes in non-human forms as well. This is more shocking to the people of this world. If we talk about the non-human form, they get bewildered. How come the Supreme Lord takes animal forms like Varhadev, the boar? Any forms the Lord takes that is remarkable. It's most astonishing, beautiful. He took the form of Narsingha, which is a half man and half animal. And this is more remarkable. He takes takes horse form, Hayagriva. He also takes lower forms like reptilian forms. Kurma, we talked about, Ananda, snake. And he comes as a bird, Amsavatar. So we have all sorts of varieties of animals represented by the Supreme Lord, Krishna. How is that possible? Because he is the Supreme Lord, so he can do that. So this is not unusual because, the Acharyas give this example beautifully. So look at the moon. It is changing every day. It is one moon only, but it is changing. Changing what? The amount of light it displays, the shape and light. So during Amavasya, there is no moon at all. Then the next day we see a little bit light. Next day we see a little bit more light. Like that, it grows, and finally we get Purnima again, the full moon. So the moon keeps changing in terms of light it displays, but it has one moon. It is one moon. So similarly, the Lord is one, but it's different forms. He manifests a different amount of qualities. just like moon. So according to the amount of power, the moon is manifesting different amounts of light. The Lord in his forms manifests different amounts of powers and qualities. That's how we understand it. So one class is called Avesha forms. So these are the jivas with special powers given by the Lord eternally. For example, the 4 Kumaras, the sons of Brahma, Narada, they are like Avesha forms, Prithu Maharaj, the Kalki, Buddha, Ananda Shesh, which hold the Bhumandala actually on his head. Kali Yuga avatar, except Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Chaitanya comes, that's different. But generally, except the 28th Yuga of Vaivashuddha Manu, it is always the Shakti Avesh avatar. So these are considered to be Shakti Avesh avatar. They are given a special empowerment, special powers by the Lord to the Jivas, and they act like a Supreme Lord with the Supreme Lord's powers. So these are not the Lord, but special powers given to Jivas. So they are classed as Supreme Lord. They are called Avesha forms. But the Shesha, who is the bed of Vishnu, is considered to be expansion of Sankarshan. So that's different. He's not a Jiva. So when we come to the actual forms of the Lord, not the Jiva, the Lord himself. And some of the forms show minimum of powers for the short period of time, then they disappear. Like we have Mohini avatar that comes and takes the nectar from the demons, gives it to Devatas. It's a minor pastime, doesn't show too much powers. And another similar example is Hamsa avatar, who came and spoke Jnana and Bhakti to the Kumaras, and he disappeared because Brahma was a little busy with creation. The Lord came and helped because Brahma prayed for it. Then the Yuga avatars, who spread each of the Yuga dharma, such as meditation in Satya Yuga, sacrifice in Treta Yuga, deity worship in Dwapara Yuga, chanting of the holy names of the Lord in Kali Yuga. They come and establish Yuga dharma, they disappear. They just come for a short period of time. And some forms of the Lord show a little bit more powers. Who are they? For example, Dhanvantari. He established Ayurveda. So we have Rishabhadev, who taught complete renunciation. What does it mean by renunciation? And Vyasadev, who wrote all the scriptures. So when they show more powers, they are called Vaibhava forms. So when they show more powers than Vaibhava, that is called Prabhava forms. The example is a Kurma. He came to help the churning of the milk ocean. We talked about Matsya to save Vaivashuddha Manu and Vedas and creatures. Naranarayana Rishi, Krishna Garbha, that Dhruva Maharaj saw when he did his meditation. The 14 Manvantras, the Manus who stay for 17 Yuga cycles each. Prabhava forms. Then we have Paravashta forms. They are more powerful. Example is Varhadev, who lifts up the Bhumandala from the Garbhodak ocean. And Hayagriva, who manifests Vedas from his breathing, extraordinary power. As I said, Vamanadev, Trivikrama. The second step, he took 3 steps. The first step, he covered everything. Second step, he broke a hole in the universe. He just, there are 7 subtle layers of the universe, and he just broke a hole. And through that hole, from the Karana ocean, we get the Ganges. Ganga flows through the hole to the universe, to all the 3 planetary systems. That is Vamanadev. Then there is a Vaikuntha. He's a form. He made a Vaikuntha planet within the material world, that is called Prapanchaka Vaikuntha. That the Lord comes as a Vaikuntha to make that arrangement. And there is a form called Achyuta. Achyuta form is a form of the Lord who sat on top of the Mantra mountain, so they can get the nectar during the churning of the milk ocean. And he came as Hari. Hari is the form who rescued Gajendra the elephant, from the crocodile. So this is like a Paravashta forms. Then we have something called Purna Forms, complete forms, more powerful. In this category, we have Narsinghadev, we have Lord Ram, and we have Lord Krishna, and Krishna is at the top. So these forms of the Lord show great amount of powers and qualities, the Purna avatars, because they manifest significant number of qualities, especially Bhakta Vatsala quality, to the highest degree. You can see that more than the other forms that we just talked about. Bhakta Vatsala means it's very affectionate towards his devotees. It just shows his affection. So that's why you see these forms like Narsinghadev, Lord Rama, Lord Krishna are quite famous and popularly worshipped in India and other parts of the world where the Vedic culture is followed. So we have a lot of Krishna temples, we have a lot of Rama temple, a lot of Narsingha temple in India. On the other hand, we don't see a lot of Varahadev temples or Kurma temple. I mean, there is one near Vijayawada, the Kurma temple. And Matsya temple also we don't see much, but there is one in Trivandrum, Matsya temple. So one God, many forms. So some show less powers and qualities, and some show more powers and qualities. But at the same time, by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, listening to Acharyas, reading the Acharyas' works to understand the forms and pastimes and qualities of the Lord, we worship them. We worship them with the understanding that all these are included in Krishna. Meaning whatever qualities we see in Narsinghadev is also in Krishna. Whatever qualities we see in Lord Ram, we see them in Krishna. Whatever qualities we see in Varahadev, we see in Krishna. So we should not think that all these forms are different entities. They all are one God, Bhagavan, and they are part of one person, Krishna. So the whole point of Srimad Bhagavatam and reciting different avatars, different forms, is to show that ultimately Krishna is the seed of all the avatars. That's the whole point of Srimad Bhagavatam. And therefore he is the highest position. Ete chamsa kalapamsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Bhagavatam says. Lord Krishna is the original personality of God, source of all incarnations. So Krishna is on the top, shows the most powers and most qualities. And this is the conclusion of even Brahma Samhita. Beautiful verse Brahma realizes. He says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. The Govinda is the supreme Godhead. His body is eternal, blissful, spiritual body he has. And he is the origin of everything. He is the cause of all causes. That's what that verse means. So Krishna shows various Shaktis in a remarkable way. But even there, the sweetness is also very prominent in Krishna. That's what makes him very, very special. That sweetness is less prominent in other forms of the Lord. Yeah, he shows sweetness. But in Krishna's form, you can see it to the fullest extent. And also he shows more power than other forms in Krishna form. So he shows more mercy than other forms. In Bhakta Vatsalya also, to the maximum degree, he shows in Krishna form. And more importantly, he shows more sweetness than other forms. And therefore, we put him in the special position. Scriptures put him in a very, very special position actually. Lord Brahma gives, he's our Acharya. I mean, Lord Brahma gives a detailed description of Krishna's form in Brahma Samhita. Because he actually met Krishna face to face. Think about that. Brahma was doing meditation for thousands of years. After that, at the end, the perfection is he saw Krishna face to face. So in ecstasy, he spoke Brahma Samhita. He describes the qualities of the Lord, the form of the Lord, the beauty of the Lord. He says, Venam Kavanantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Bharavatam Sam Ashitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Sobam Govinda Madhipurisham Tamaham Bhajami. He says, I worship the Govinda, the primeval Lord, who plays flute, who has a blooming eyes like a lotus petals, whose head is decorated with peacock feather, whose figure of beauty is tinged with the hue of blue clouds, whose unique loveliness charms millions of cupids. This is Brahma after seeing the Lord face to face. There's another verse comes to mind. Angani yashya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti, says. Ananda chinmaya sad ujjvala vigrahasya Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. He says, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss. Ananda Chinmaya Sad Ujjvala Vigrahasya. Bliss, truth, and substantiality. And who is full of most dazzling splendor. His limbs of the transcendental figure possesses itself, he says, the functions of other organs. Beautifully, it's interchangeable. So he also talks about what does he do? He eternally sees, maintains, manifests the all the universes, both spiritual and mundane. This is Brahma after seeing Lord face to face. So most attractive form. Among the sweetness of Krishna's flute is sweetest. Venu Madhurya. No other avatars plays flute. You can see Krishna uses flute. Why? To invoke sweetness. All the forms of Lord are very beautiful. I mean, there is no question at all. And they all are spiritual beauties. Very attractive. But they are attractive in different ways. And all of these attractive forms, Krishna has got this sweet attractiveness to him. And he has got, that's why the Acharya says, Madhurya Rupa. Yes, Madhurya Rupa. Very sweet and beauty. And if you see him, you cannot take your eyes off of him. So extremely attractive. So why? This invokes very intimate type of affection for Krishna. So, and we don't find in other forms. Also, you look at the pastimes of Krishna. Very sweet Leela. He has a very intimate relationship with his devotees. And therefore, they act very informally with each other. So we don't see this intimacy between Krishna and his devotees in other forms. This level of intimacy. So Krishna has a very remarkable pastimes. So if you read 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it's beautifully described and it's recorded. Especially his childhood pastimes, it just steals your hearts and minds. Beautifully. So he has exceptionally sweet devotees of all types, if you look at it. We have many devotees. If you read, you see the servants in Dasya Bhav, many devotees as friends in Sakya Bhav, many devotees as parents in Vatsalya. They want to be superior to Krishna, so they control the Lord, and Lord gets controlled by them. And there are many devotees in conjugal rasa, like gopis, Madhurya rasa, Madhurya Bhav. So these are the remarkable sweetness of Krishna, and that sweetness is concentrated in the pastimes of and also in relationship of Radha and Krishna. So this is where the sweetness reaches its highest peak in the spiritual world. And therefore, we worship Radha and Krishna, the highest object of worship, Radharani and Krishna. So therefore, Krishna appeared within this world in Dwapara Yuga, and he performed the beautiful, the most attractive, sweet pastimes along with his pure devotees. Then after the pastimes are over, he went back to his spiritual world. He disappeared. However, after his departure, Krishna thought that for a long time, I have not bestowed my pure, unalloyed bhakti upon the residents of this universe. I have not given the pure bhakti because the Kali Yuga is approaching, and the conditioned souls in Kali Yuga, they need unalloyed devotional service to come out of the influence of Kali Yuga. And without that, Ananya Bhakti, the unalloyed bhakti, the existence of the entire material creation is useless. So Krishna thought that. He was very compassionate, the Kali Yuga souls. And also, even there are devotees, but they worship the Lord according to Sastric injunction. That's not very attractive to the Lord. Meaning simply by following the Vedic injunctions and rules, we cannot attain the unalloyed love of Krishna that the gopis of Vrindavan or the devotees of Vrindavan possesses. Because the awe and reverence is not very attractive to the Lord. Yeah, of course, he gives blessings, he gives whatever we want. But what is attractive to him is the pure bhakti, the pure love. Because if we have awe and reverence, then it makes our bhakti feeble, meaning a little weak. So therefore, Krishna thought that I shall personally inaugurate the dharma of the age for Kali Yuga. Let me go personally and establish the Yuga Dharma, because every Yuga has Dharma, as we discussed. So for Kali Yuga, that is Nama Sankirtana, the chanting of, the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Krishna thought that, okay, let me go and personally inaugurate the Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga and to deliver the fallen souls in Kali Yuga. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam says that it's a beautiful verse. It says, Krite yad dhyayato Vishnum tretayam yajato makai dvapara paricharyayam kalotat harikirtanat. Meaning, whatever results we obtain in Satya Yuga by doing meditation on Vishnu, and whatever results we attain in Treta Yuga just by performing yagna, and in Dwapara Yuga by serving the lotus feet of the Lord, deity worship, can be obtained in Kali Yuga just by simply chanting the Hari Kirtanat, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So according to, if you take the cosmic time cycle, according to scriptures, the Kali Yuga is the most debased age. Even Srimad Bhagavatam says the characteristics of Kali. He says very beautifully, he says, Manda Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya Upadrutaha. Meaning, in this age of Kali, it says Iron Age. Men are quarrelsome. Men and women both. Men are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. That's the general characteristics of people in Kali Yuga. So it's very interesting because the Yuga Dharma, if you see how Krishna, if you analyze read Bhagavatam, it talks about the different Yuga Dharma in different ages. The religious practice or Dharma that, if you see, has to be tailored to fit the particular characteristics of each Yugas. It has to fit the particular characteristics, otherwise it will be tough for people to attain perfection in practicing religion. So for example, the meditational practices suitable for Satya Yuga, because Satya Yuga people are in Sattva, mode of goodness all the time, so they're not disturbed, exactly opposite of Kali. They're not lazy, they're guided properly by the scriptures, they're very lucky, their mind is very focused because they're in Sattva. So meditation practices are suitable for Satya Yuga. But if it will be ineffective in Kali Yuga, the same process, meditational practices will be ineffective in Kali Yuga because we are quarrelsome, we are lazy, we are misguided, and we are always disturbed. We are unlucky. So people no longer have the time, the determination, the peace of mind to meditate properly. So the Lord therefore descends in each Yuga as Yuga Avatar in order to establish the appropriate form of religion, appropriate form of Dharma suitable for the particular characteristics of each Yuga. Very important. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam says, a very famous verse, Kaler dosha nide rajan asti e eko mahan guna. Kirtanat eva krishnasya mukta bandha param rajat. So he says, my dear king, although the Kali Yuga is full of faults, the characteristics I just described, there is one good quality about this age. That is, simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and attain the spiritual kingdom. Mukta bandha param rajat. Therefore, Nama Sankirtana, the congregational chanting of the holy name, is especially suitable for Kali Yuga because it is both easy to do and extremely powerful. It gives the highest result. So in this age, we are in such a morbid condition of that only the strongest process can really pull us out of Kali Yuga. It's very simple. If you have a disease and you're taking medicine, the medicine is very bitter, we refuse to take it. But if it is sweet, if you take the medicine with sweet, then we can easily take it. So therefore, the Lord disseminated the holy name because it's sweet, it's easy, it's extremely powerful also for Kali Yuga mind. So no matter how quarrelsome, how lazy, how misguided, how unlucky, how disturbed we may be, we can easily chant Hare Krishna mantra with perceptible spiritual results. Very important, tangible spiritual results. It's guaranteed by the scriptures, by the Lord himself. So Krishna wants to teach Nama Sankirtana to others in Kali Yuga, especially in this Kali Yuga, by personally practicing it as a devotee. It's another remarkable thing. He wants to personally come as a devotee and teach us how to do Nama Sankirtana, chanting of the holy name. Why he wants to do that? To deliver all the worlds, all the living entities in this world. So Adi Purana says beautifully, it says, Bhagavad Bhakta Rupena Lokam Rakshami Sarvada. I just want to come as a Bhakta and teach them step by step how to practice this Nama Sankirtana and just take them with me to the spiritual world. Very, very compassionate. Why Krishna has to come and practice Bhakti himself as a devotee? He could have sent somebody, but he wants to come. Why? He answers that. He answers that in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Yad yad achrati shrestas tat tat eva taro janaha. Sa yad pramanam kurute lokas tat anuvartate. So whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary act, the entire world pursues. So that's why Krishna wanted to come and show himself as a devotee so that we can follow him. So he takes the form of Lord Chaitanya and teaches the chanting of the holy names in this particular Kali Yuga. Very, very important. It is confirmed in scriptures. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Yagnai Sankirtana Priyar Yajanti Isu Medasaha. He takes the form of the Sankirtana Priyar, Lord Chaitanya, and comes and establishes the Yuga Dharma, which is chanting of the holy name in this particular Kali Yuga. Because we are very lucky to have taken birth in this Kali Yuga, because in other Kali Yugas, the Lord doesn't come directly. He sends Satyavesha avatar or the Vishnu forms come to establish Nama Sankirtan. Only in the 28th cycle of Vaivashvata Manu, the Supreme Lord comes as Lord Chaitanya and establishes Yuga Dharma. So we are extremely fortunate to have taken birth in this Kali Yuga and also to have introduced to Nama Sankirtana process. If you read some Puranas, it's very amazing how they describe Lord Chaitanya's descent more accurately, even including the name and place and stuff like that. And there is a Gaura Puran says, Aham Purno Bhavishyami Yuga Sandaya Visheshataha Mayapure Navadvipe Bhavishyami Sachisuta. You cannot say more than this accurately. So I will take birth in the beginning of Kali Yuga, in the place called Mayapur, in the Navadvip, in the womb of Sachidevi. Like that, there's so many examples, so many Puranas. Even Narada Purana says, Kalo Sankirtana Arambe Bhavishyami Sachisuta. To inaugurate the Sankirtana movement, I will incarnate as the son of Sachi. So this is the reason that he gave, that he wants to come and inaugurate the Yuga Dharma, which is the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya. Okay, so this is the public reason, meaning external reason. Yes, he wants to establish Yuga Dharma. But there are two reasons why Krishna comes. He assumes the role of his own devotee in Kali Yuga. One is this public reason I just gave. The another one is internal, secret, the private reason why he wants to assume the role of his own devotee and establish Nama Sankirtana. So what is the public reason? External reason is what we discussed, meaning Krishna comes as a devotee to teach the chanting of the holy names of the Lord in the most attractive and powerful way. So this is the public reason, external reason. Then what is the private reason? If you look at scriptures, it's a little bit difficult to understand, but by the mercy of Acharyas, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we can understand it to some extent. So Krishna's appearance as Lord Chaitanya is really, if you think about it, Krishna's own glory. And also it's an evidence to his great attraction to pure devotional service. Because if you read, we have been doing this in Bhagavad's Bhakti Bhushan. Every chapter Krishna concludes that Bhakti is most important. And he says that I am very attracted to Bhakti. Especially the 12th chapter. He says, Etu dharma amurtam idam yatoktam paryupashate shadadana matparama bhaktesti ativa me priya. Krishna says, very, very dear to me. One who is in an imperishable path of bhakti, devotional service, and who completely engages themselves with faith, shadadana matparama, making me the supreme goal. Bhakteste ativa me priya. I am very, very attracted to them. This is Lord. So now he coming as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is really an evidence to his attraction to pure devotional service, pure bhakti. So moreover, when Krishna assumes the features of his own greatest devotee, he was thinking, what kind of a devotee mood that I should have when I come as my devotee and teach bhakti to others, pure bhakti to others. Then he had particular devotee in his mind, his highest and most intimate devotee, that is Srimati Radharani. She's the highest point in pure devotion, in Madhurya Ras. So Krishna decides to come with the mood of Radharani. So this is the most important factor to understand the internal or the secret reasons or private reasons why Lord Chaitanya comes. So now we have a spectacular form of Krishna in our particular Kali Yuga, as I explained, that is Lord Chaitanya, who is simultaneously the Yuga avatar because he comes and establishes Nama Sankirtan for Kali Yuga. Plus, he is a form of Krishna with the mood of Radharani. It's the most remarkable form of the Lord. Think about it. So there's no other form like this. So as you see in the screen here. So as I said, Krishna, as according to Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna is at the top as Swayam Bhagavan. And Lord Chaitanya is also Swayam Bhagavan. But he's different because he has the mood of Radharani. There's a beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which it says that, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrishu Vanaya Eva Ashvedayo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima Kidrishuva Madhya, meaning Krishna desired to understand the greatness of Radharani's love, Radhaya Pranaya Mahima, and the qualities of Krishna that she appreciates, she get attracted to. Krishna wants to understand that. And by serving Krishna so selflessly, purely, she gets so much joy and bliss. Krishna wanted to understand the greatness of her joy because she has more joy than Krishna who is being served. So Krishna took the form of Lord Chaitanya with the mood of Radharani to experience what Radharani experiences in relation to Krishna. This is beautiful. So Lord Chaitanya, he picked the mood of Radharani. He acts as a devotee of Krishna with the feelings of Radharani. Because he wants to understand her love, he wants to understand her, the qualities that she appreciates in Krishna. And Krishna also wants to understand her greatness, the greatness of her joy that she derives by serving Krishna selflessly and purely. So Lord Chaitanya is the most important in our sampradaya. That's why. So as I'm referring to the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is nothing for people who have not heard about Chaitanya Charitamrita. We have one great works, that is Chaitanya Charitamrita, which tells us a lot about Lord Chaitanya. We have few other works also, like Chaitanya Bhagavat and things like that. But Chaitanya Charitamrita is one main work that we resolve to understand Lord Chaitanya. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, we know that he was born more than 500 years ago, and what we call West Bengal. Previously, it was called Gaura Desh, on the bank of Ganges. It used to be called Navadvipa, meaning 9 islands, Navadvipa. So now they don't look like island anymore if you go and see. But in ancient times, the different parts of river divided in this area into 9 different land masses with some rivers in between. So that's why it is called Navadvip. And these 9 islands are considered to be a lotus with a center part and 8 petals. So Lord Chaitanya was born in the center of that lotus, the place called Mayapur, as I said, 500 years ago. So to the description of Lord Chaitanya's form, his qualities and his activities, we associate him with Yuga Avatar. Because if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, the 11th canto beautifully describes all the Yuga Avatars. And there is a description of Yuga Avatar, one for Satya Yuga, one for Treta, one for Dwapara, and one for Kali Yuga. So it talks about, when it talks about Yuga Avatar for Kali Yuga, it says he is Akrishna. Akrishna means in Kali Yuga he is not blackish. There is a beautiful verse. It says, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Akrishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtana Priya Yajanti Isumeda Saha. Meaning, in the age of Kali, the intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. And he is accompanied by his devotees, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So it is proved. It's given in Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's what we see in Lord Chaitanya's, the description of Lord Chaitanya's form, his qualities and activities. So therefore, not only Lord Chaitanya has mood of Radharani, he also has the complexion of Radharani. That's another thing. Radharani is golden in color. She's like a gold. So Lord Chaitanya is also golden in color. That's why we call him Gauranga. It's another name of Lord Chaitanya. Gaura, Anga. Gaura means golden. Anga means limb. So it's the person with the golden limbs, Gauranga. Another name is Yamanga. That is also Gauranga's name. Yama means gold. So therefore, Radha and Krishna get combined within Lord Chaitanya, who is called Gauranga Mahaprabhu. As you see in the picture here, they're combined. So he's essentially Krishna with Bhava of Radharani and the complexion of Radharani. That is Lord Chaitanya. So that's why this verse says, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtana Priya Yajanti Isumeda Saha. So this verse describes his activities also. He is Yagnai Sankirtana Priya, which means Nama Sankirtana. So this is the Yuga Dharma, as I explained. Every Yuga has a particular Dharma, and there are avatars to propagate the Dharma for each Yuga. So we have avatar who propagates Nama Sankirtan. This is Lord Chaitanya. So though he is a Yuga avatar, but he is a very, very special Yuga avatar. As I explained, generally the Yuga avatar for Kali is dark in color, whereas Lord Chaitanya is golden in color. At the same time, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, but there is a rule in Kali Yuga that Lord does not appear. That's why it's called Tri Yuga. If you read 7th canto, it says Yad Abhavas Tri Yuga Ata Sattvam, meaning he appears only in 3 yugas. Kali Yuga does not appear. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam says. So now we have a question. If Lord appears only in 3 yugas, not appear in Kali Yuga, what about the avatars appear in Kali Yuga? There is a Yuga avatar assigned to Kali Yuga because Kali is one of the yugas. Lord Buddha comes in Kali Yuga. Kalki comes in Kali Yuga. But if he is 3 yuga only, what about these avatars which manifest or which they come? So Rupa Goswami answers that beautifully. He's saying that the avatars appear in Kali Yuga are not avatars in true sense. Interesting. Then they are just Satyavesha avatars because they are jivas with special powers. So in this way, Krishna remains 3 yuga. He doesn't break the rule. Beautifully. He sends the jivas with empowered shaktis eternally, and they come and establish Yuga avatar, Yuga Dharma, and teach Dharma and all those stuff. So now there's another question. So Lord Chaitanya has to be Shaktivesha avatar then, because he comes in Kali Yuga. Shaktivesha avatar is not a full avatar. So how to understand? Because Lord Chaitanya is an exception because he is not Shaktivesha avatar. He is not different from Krishna himself. He is Swayam Bhagavan. And he is a very, very special case. So why is not different from Krishna? Why is not Shaktivesha avatar? We need some explanation for that. So that you can find in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's a beautiful verse. When Lord Chaitanya comes, he's not Shaktivesha avatar, is the Swayam Bhagavan descends. So there is a verse which is evidence. It says, Anarpita charam chirat karunaya avatrina kalu. This is the important line. Samarpayutam unnata ujjvala rasam swabhakti shriyam. Meaning, the son of Sachi, who appears in Kali Yuga, he offers something which is not offered previously. What is that? He is offering the unnata ujjvala rasa. What is that? The brilliant rasa, the topmost rasa, is referring to Madhurya rasa. So he reveals Madhurya rasa to the people of Kali Yuga, the highest, the gopis that they exchange with Krishna. And that is the rasa he wants to give it to the people of Kali Yuga. Why? Because the Kali Yuga souls are attracted to so many material enjoyments, so many material attractions. So Krishna wants to give something extremely attractive, extremely fulfilling, so that they can just leave behind all this temporary material attraction and get attracted to something superior, superlative. So he comes to give this Madhurya rasa to people of Kali Yuga. So very, very special. So Lord Chaitanya is presenting the Madhurya rasa to people of Kali Yuga. Of course, Lord Chaitanya presents Yuga Dharma, which is Nama Sankirtana. But this is another aspect of his appearance. Very important point to understand. This is the secret. That is, he's presenting Madhurya rasa of Krishna to people of Kali Yuga. So this is not just Nama Sankirtana. It is more than that. In other Kali Yugas, he just gives Nama Sankirtana as Satyavesha avatar. But in our Kali Yuga, which is 28th Yuga cycle of Vaivashvata Manu, he comes and establishes Nama Sankirtana, but more than that, which is Samarpayutam Unnata Ujjvala Rasa, to give Madhurya Rasa to people of this particular Kali Yuga. Very, very special. So Chaitanya Charitamrita describes the 3 esoteric reasons for the Lord's appearance as Chaitanya. We already know it comes to propagate the Yuga Dharma. We just discussed revealing the love of Radha and Krishna. This is more an expansion of the idea of Madhurya Rasa, particularly indicating why Krishna himself is doing this. Why he's doing this, manifesting Madhurya Rasa? Is one is he desires to experience the nature of Radharani's love. Radha is living Krishna, and Krishna wanted to experience what is she experiencing by loving me. That's the first reason. And it is difficult to understand unless he takes the role of Radharani. Otherwise, Krishna cannot understand it because it's so deep. Then he can also experience that. So he wants to understand the greatness of Radharani's love, how intensely she feels the attraction to Krishna. So in other words, he wants to understand the greatness of Radharani's love. That's an expression of his devotion to her. That's how we understand that. That's Krishna's devotion to Radharani. Second reason Chaitanya Charitamrita gives, he wants to understand the wonderful qualities in Krishna that she relishes, as we discussed. In other words, Radharani sees Krishna and she appreciates a different aspect of him. She likes his flute. She likes his peacock feather. She likes color of his body. She likes the sound of his ankle bell. And she likes his garland. It's a beautiful garland Krishna wears. So what is that she appreciates in Krishna? Krishna wants to understand that. So this is the second esoteric reason why Krishna appears as Lord Chaitanya, to understand the qualities that Radharani appreciates Krishna, the aspects, the attractive features of the Lord. Then the third one is Krishna wants to know what is the bliss that Radharani feels, as explained. How to understand that bliss. We know that Radharani is a personification of Ladini Shakti of the Lord, the bliss Shakti of the Lord. So what is that bliss? Of course, Ladini Shakti belongs to Krishna, but it externalizes as Radharani. And she is getting the bliss of serving Krishna. So Krishna wanted to understand what is she feeling. So these are the three reasons why Lord Chaitanya appears to understand the greatness of Radharani's love for Krishna. So therefore, Krishna himself takes the form of Lord Chaitanya and appears in the womb of Sachidevi. So these three are the very esoteric reasons why Krishna himself comes as Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, he is not Saktivesh avatar or other form of the Lord. He is Krishna himself, but in a different form because he wants to experience like Radharani. Very important. And Krishna appears at the end of Dwapara Yuga, as I said, in the 28th cycle, Yuga cycle of Vaivashvata Manvantara, which is once in a day of Brahma. So Lord Chaitanya appears and he spreads Nama Sankirtan as Yuga avatar. Plus, he wants to appreciate the quality of love that Radharani is experiencing for Krishna. So therefore, he is manifesting Lord Chaitanya's form. There's a beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shaktir Ashmat Eke Atmanav Apibhuvi Pura Deha Bedam Gatau Tau. It says, the loving affairs between Radharani and Krishna are the manifestations of Lord's internal potency, that is Ladini Shakti. Technically, Radharani is the Shakti of Krishna, the internal Shakti, Ladini Shakti. And the Shakti and Krishna are non-different because wherever Krishna is, the Shakti is there. Shaktiman, wherever Shaktiman is there, Shakti is always there. Particularly the bliss Shakti is non-different from Krishna because Ananda or the bliss is the essential quality of Bhagavan. So therefore, the Ladini Shakti is his main Shakti and it is part of him, but they are separated in the form of Radharani and Krishna. So Radharani is Ladini Shakti and Krishna is Krishna. They're actually one, but they are separate entities. So, but when Lord Chaitanya comes, they're merged together as Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna with the mood of Radharani. So Lord Chaitanya is the combination of Radha and Krishna. So it is a very, very special form, spectacular. Lord Chaitanya's form. It's 8:47. I can stop here. And the questions I can take maybe next week. If you have any questions, please note it down, and or you can send it to me. And we'll definitely have time to discuss question and answer. I mean, we'll have question and answer session. So I would like to stop here, and we'll continue. It's very interesting. We're going to talk about the different tattvas also in the next class. And so with that, we'll stop here. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.